Hello, hello. So I'm getting my APU worked on here at APU Center. I've got bad news, I got good news. So that's my trailer right there. I parked it over there initially, and apparently that's a different business. And they told me that I better move my trailer because they will tow it. So I hooked back up to it and moved it over here to this spot. But I've got my laptop and everything set up in their lounge area, and that's where I've been sitting for the last couple hours. So I think we finally gotten to a point where I know what's going on with it, or they know what's going on with it, and they told me. And so what was wrong with it was it was overheating really bad. And because it was overheating so bad, it had melted some lines. And the initial cause of it overheating appears to have been the water lines being shut off. Somebody had closed the valves for the water lines that went into the water pump that cooled the engine. And I don't know how much it had been run that way. I ran it, though. I've run the APU for a total of maybe 4 hours since I've had the truck. I'm guessing somewhere in the area of 4 hours or so. I don't know how much or how long the previous driver of this truck ran it that way, though. So the guy told me that we could try, because the water pump got burnt out, basically because it was running without any water or something. I don't know the details, but the water pump needed to be replaced, and he fixed the lines that melted. And that's where the leak was coming from. He said it wasn't actually an oil leak, it was a fuel leak, because the fuel line had basically melted. So it was an extreme fire hazard, because this thing was getting so hot, and it had a melted fuel line that was basically spraying fuel all over the place. Diesel is harder to ignite. It has a higher ignition point than gasoline. If this was a gasoline engine, I probably would have burnt this truck to the ground. But anyway, they asked me, they said that they don't know how good this engine is, since it's, been run that hot. They said the engine may last a day, may last years, they don't know. But it's probably caused some damage to the engine. So they asked me, how I wanted to proceed, and I said, well, let's go ahead and replace the water pump and get it going, and just see if I can get some life out of this. And they did all that. He replaced the water pump. He fixed the melted air lines, or not air lines, but the melted lines. I don't know what all lines were melted. There was a fuel line that was melted. I think maybe a water line was melted. I don't know what all lines were damaged, but he had to fix a bunch of the lines. It was low on Freon. He charged up the Freon. So apparently it's no longer leaking anymore. It's cooling properly. And it's running right now. So everything about it is running. It's working. The air conditioner works. Everything about it is working. He's just testing it out right now to make sure that it's not overheating and everything's running properly. And then he's going to do the service on it, replacing the oil and the filters and stuff. He had to add some oil into it already, though, because he said it was like 1.5 quarts low on oil. And I thought it was I thought it had too much oil in it, but apparently it was low on oil. It probably was reading that it had too much oil in it because of how hot the oil had gotten. And it probably expanded so much that it was just reading really high. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know these things, but it looked like it had too much damn oil in it to me. But anyway, it seems to be running fine now. And I'm really lucky and glad that it wasn't a compressor. And I thought that maybe some seals might have to be replaced, where they would have to like dismantle the engine to replace some seals because of the oil leak. So all in all, the repair is actually better and easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought that this was going to be a really costly repair. It might still be. I don't know what they're going to charge me for this. I know that the water pump was $220. So what he's got left right now, he's just verifying that the engine is running fine. Then he's going to do a regular routine service. And then he's going to install the inverter that I purchased. Well, I haven't actually purchased it yet, but I will be purchasing the inverter. So this is going to be a really expensive bill. This is probably going to be $1,000 because the inverter alone is $266. Just the service is $125. So that's $400 right there. Then the water pump is $230. So that's $630, and they're probably going to charge me like 3 or 4 hours labor, and they charge $90 an hour for labor. So this is probably going to cost me $900 is what I'm guessing right now, is how much it's going to cost me, is somewhere in the ballpark of $900, which in my opinion is worth it. I've been talking with, this guy right here with the yellow truck. He's a flatbedder. He's an owner op as well. It's all owner ops over here. The other owner operator that was here this morning, that he actually was really cool. He helped me unhook my trailer. The fifth wheel release wouldn't release for me, so I had to get in the truck and back toward the trailer a little bit to reduce the tension on it. And he was like, hey, I'll pull it for you. And he just ran back there, and while I was backing up, he pulled it. I was like, all right, appreciate it, thanks. He's really helpful, really nice guy. And he lucked out. His only problem with his APU was he had a loose belt. So, yeah, he got in and out of here real quick. But yeah, I was chatting with him about the guy with the yellow truck here. You saw him in the video. He had the overalls on. And we were talking about the APUs and why we want them and everything. And it's not just a matter of saving money on fuel. It takes a lot of time to recoup the cost of an APU. The initial cost of the APU plus all the upkeep and maintenance and everything else. It's really hard to recoup your money on fuel savings. So the reason that I want the APU in there is not for fuel savings. It is for two other main reasons. One is the main reason is wear and tear on the main engine. I don't like running the main engine 24 hours a day. He told me that he just paid $20,000 to have his engine rebuilt. You can buy 2 APUs for that. So yeah, I want to put as little wear and tear on the engine as possible. So that's the main reason I want the APU. The secondary reason I want the APU is to keep the batteries charged. The APU, it has a feature where it monitors the battery, and it kicks in if the voltage on the battery gets low, and it keeps batteries from dying. That is amazing for like whenever you're sitting at your house for 2 or 3 days. You don't have to hit your master kill switch to shut off all power to the truck, which turns your refrigerator off and everything. So if you're going to be at home for a couple of days, you can just leave the APU in, monitoring mode or standby mode or whatever mode it's called. It's different for each one. And you don't have to worry about having dead batteries after a couple of days, and you don't have to worry about your food going bad in your refrigerator or anything else. And it also allows you to operate microwaves and TVs and everything else in the truck without having to have the engine running all the time. And it's got its own air conditioning unit. Like, it's got its own everything. The biggest thing for me on the APU is that it offloads wear and tear off of the main engine components, off of the main components basically, and it offloads them to a secondary unit, and hopefully it allows the truck to last longer. One of the reasons that I wanted a truck that had an APU was because I know that if I bought a truck that had an APU in it already, that truck has had an APU in it pretty much since it was purchased, which means that whenever you look at the mileage on the truck, this truck had 460,000 miles on it. In my opinion, not being a mechanic and not being somebody that, like, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on the subject, but I'm just talking common sense here from what little I know. Two trucks, both of them have 460,000 miles on them. Both of them are exactly the same, and they're both $40,000. Well, let's forget about the price. Forget about the price, because they're probably going to charge more for the one with the APU. So let's just forget about the price. But two trucks, identical, same specs, same features, same years, same trim, same everything, same mileage, 460,000 miles. One with an APU, one without an APU. The engine runtime on the one without the APU is likely considerably higher than the one with the APU. The amount of hours that engine has been running is probably double the hours the engine that has been running on the one with 460,000 miles. So that was one of the other reasons I wanted a truck that had an APU in it, was because the engine would likely have a lot less hours on it. So anyway, Strafford, Missouri. The TA is right over there. That's where I stayed the night last night. Got a shower this morning. I tried to fuel up last night, and whenever you get a fuel card with USA Truck, call the damn fuel department before you try to fuel, and have them, make sure that they programmed in your unit number into the card, because you don't want to be sitting there trying to fuel at 1 a.m. and it's telling you invalid unit number. And I've had 2 fuel cards so far, and every one of them I've had to contact somebody to get them to program in my unit number into the damn card. And it sucks. I couldn't fuel up last night. I contacted them again this morning and told them, well, I contacted them last night when I tried to fuel, and they told me they fixed it, but I had already gone back and parked again. So I was like, well, shit, I'll just fuel up in the morning before I take a shower, because I wanted to fuel up so I get a free shower credit. And I had to, I tried to fuel up again this morning, still telling me invalid unit number. So I messaged them again and said, hey, it's still telling me invalid unit number. I told them the unit number that I'm trying to use, and they messaged me back like 10 minutes later. I just stayed at the fuel island waiting for the message. And they messaged me back like 10 minutes later and said it should be fixed now. And it did. It was fixed. It worked. And I was able to fuel. So something on the fuel discount with USA Truck, it is 15 cents off per gallon. 15 cents off. And I asked Christina, I said, is that 15 cents a gallon off the cash price or the credit price? And she initially told me credit price. And then she replied back to the message like a half hour later, and she said, she apologized, and she said that she looked it up to make sure, and it's actually 15 cents a gallon off of the cash price, which is a huge difference, because that's like 21 cents a gallon off at TA over here, because their credit price is 6 cents per gallon more expensive than their cash price. So 21 cents a gallon off over here at the TA, that's a pretty decent discount. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's decent. It gets the price down from $2.19 a gallon down to I don't know, what would that be, like $1.98 a gallon? Sounds about right to me. My math skills are not very good. I'm thinking about a whole bunch of stuff right now. What else is there? I'm trying to figure out how to get to Oklahoma City. Been looking at the load boards and stuff. There is a load that's going to Oklahoma City, and it picks up in Harrisonville, Missouri. It's not too terribly far from where I'm going to deliver this load. The problem is, it doesn't pick up until Saturday, and it looks like they're going to have me completely done before noon. So, that is awesome. I thought that this was going to take all damn day long, and I thought that they might have to give me some parts, because I thought it was going to be a major engine issue, and I thought I might be here 2 days, in all honesty. And it looks like they're going to have me done before noon. So I am really, really happy and excited right now. I'm not going to let them know that how much, I thought this was going to cost. I'm going to try to get them to, keep the cost down as little as possible. But I'm going to be super happy at $900. And I think that's how much it's going to be, roughly. I was expecting to spend $1,500 to $2,500 to get this damn thing fixed, because I thought that it had caused serious engine damage, because of whatever had happened to it. So, but anyway, yeah, I've been looking at loads. It looks like I'm going to get out of here a lot earlier than expected. I can deliver the load that I'm on currently. It's a Walmart load. I can deliver it anytime. This is that Frankenstein trailer that has like mismatched lights all over it, and all of the wiring was janky. The guy had to redo half the wiring on the lights to get them to work. He had to do a whole bunch of crap on this thing. Yeah, I can deliver this load. I think I deliver it right now. I'm in the delivery window right now, and I have until tomorrow, Friday night. It's Thursday at like 10 a.m. right now. It's actually 11:30 a.m. I just looked at the phone. So 11:30 a.m. I'm not going to be out of here by noon then, because he still has to do a service and he has to install the inverter. So I'll probably be out of here about an hour, 1 to 2 hours from now, I think. But yeah, I've been looking at loads. The one I was talking about, okay, so it picks up in Harrisonville, Missouri, which I think is something like 60 miles away from Ottawa, Kansas. Harrisonville, Missouri is a place I've been to several times. There's a Walmart distribution center in Harrisonville that I've delivered to probably 4 or 5 times. I'm familiar with Harrisonville, Missouri. So what the hell was I saying? Oh, that load picks up. It's a drop and hook, and you can pick it up anytime Saturday morning at 8 a.m. until Sunday at noon. But it has a live unload appointment, a strict appointment at 9 p.m. Sunday night. What that means is that I would have to set an extra day to pick up the load, and then I would have to go to my house and set all night, and then deliver the load Sunday night. And I was kind of wanting to take a couple of days off at the house, but if I pick up that load, I might actually just leave out Sunday night after I deliver it. I've already messaged the account managers. Well, I messaged my driver manager and asked my driver manager to reach out to the account manager and find out if I could deliver this load Saturday afternoon, if I could deliver it early. And she said that there was a note on the account that the consignee, the delivery, actually requested the load to be pushed back till Sunday. So she didn't even bother reaching out to the account manager because the shipper had already requested that the load be delayed. So I understand that. If somebody calls in and asks the load to be delayed, why would the hell would we call and ask if we could, you know, go move the delivery time back to where it was? So I don't know. I'm still debating on that load. There's a couple other loads I'm looking at. There's one that delivers to Paul's Valley. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I've also thought about like going somewhere else, and you know, instead of going directly to Oklahoma City from here, going somewhere else, picking something up, and then coming back. I've just been looking at a whole bunch of other options, and I'm still on the fence right now. Once I finish this video, I'm going to go back in there and look at the load board some more. But yeah, after this, everything on the truck should be good, because I had the air horn repaired last night at TA, and we're going to have the APU working really well after today. And I can't think of, off the top of my head, any other issues with the truck. Now, I still have the check engine light, because TA was not able to clear the fault codes. They said I have to go to a dealer to get that cleared. But, I mean, that's just a cosmetic issue. There's no actual current error. And it really kind of pisses me off that Volvo has it set up that way, to where inactive errors still trigger a check engine light, and you have to go to the damn dealership and pay $200 to have them clear the error off. That's pretty fucked up. That's just like a money-making scheme. It's, I don't know, it's like extortion. But anyway, what else is there? Let me pause the video for a second while I think.